management. There are people that genuinely have access to good people around them that help them. They have opportunities. They made certain. They did certain project. They took out certain amount of that project, or maybe profit or whatever they made from that project, put it into something else and grew from that. Not necessarily property. My building is building up people. The people I've built around me, I'm very happy. There's a mother. I say mother. There's a lady. I think of ladies because some women are not given chances in our trade because they're looked at. She's a woman who's gonna ask you to come on. There are women that have trained. That their children are very happy, that their husbands are very proud. Oh wow, you guys did that. You painted this. Mister, you taught me. But I feel it's very important. Education is very important because one of the reasons I think I've scaled through my journey with ease is because of I've got background in mechanical engineering and also computer science, which has nothing to do with building, but at least you can make excuses with the mechanical engineering. I think sometimes I wonder, how did you know to do that? How did you know to do that? People ask me that a lot. How do you know to do that? Oh, do you have a degree in carpentry? Or between January and now, October, how much has gone through these hands? You understand that you could have used for something else that could have now benefited you. How much, and that's just one aspect of financial education. Knowing how to save, knowing how to. I think you can have a job, and still, manage your finances very well. People building for me is my best job as opposed to kitchen. I've done landscaping. I've done.
Yes. Unspoken Answers to Unspoken Question. Thank you guys. Again, we always say appreciative to you for our audience every time you share and like our video. Well, today it's a pleasure to bring my old friend. I always say to him that, man, you have a lot of experience that we need on our platform. So therefore, without taking time, yes, Ayo, how are you?
I'm very well, brother. Good. I'm very well, man. Good to see
you. Yeah. First of all, I always say on this platform, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Simply put, my name is Ayodeji Olufunsho Onoyemi. Because there's actually a few Ayodeji Onoyemis out there.
Okay.
So, and I doubt the last time I checked, not that I Googled myself, the last time I checked, I mean, I'm the only one with that full name. Yeah, Ayodeji Olufunsho Onoyemi. And I'm a builder by trade, a general builder actually. I've been a builder since 2003. What that just simply means is not a handyman, as most people would say. Oh, are you a handyman?
Yeah, that's why I always like
a handyman can obviously not to put anyone down. Can do many things in hands. They're very hands-on. Yeah. They're very handy. Hence the word handyman. I think over the years, still in introducing myself, over the years I've learned my craft in I was joking around with someone recently that I think I should engage TEDx to do a TED talk on painting, because they were saying, listen, the way you even talk about, you spend almost 15 minutes talking about just bristles on brush. You're trying to explain to someone about brush, and the way you explained it is it's as if they should put it in a book, and sometimes you don't, want to tune your own horn, you don't want to, as humble as we can be, sometimes there's there's so much experience or there's so much knowledge that can be passed on, and what better age or time of life should we do that like now, where social media has opened the whole world up. Someone might see something you do or you post in terms of knowledge, and they might be in the outskirts of Brazil and they benefited from it. And I've learned something, every time I go on other builders page, other people that are in my trade. So I've been doing this since 2003, like I said, and things that I do consist of painting, plastering, kitchen fitting, bathroom fitting, flooring, carpentry, electricals. The only thing I don't do within the remit of a house is gas engineering and boilers, which involve boilers. During COVID, I was surprised, that I could, I was able to even move a radiator from one place to the other, because I had to do it myself. There was no way I could call anyone that would start coughing. So I had to stop my bricklayer from working. I had to stop. I didn't even allow my plasterer to come in because it would be a small environment. So COVID actually, for me, gave me not just the confidence, it gave me the assurance or the certification, if you were to put it that way, that I needed, that you can do all these things, because during COVID, we were caught in the middle of an extension during COVID. So, I had to do the plastering, I had to do the finish of the bricklaying, I had to do the roof, I had to do the painting, obviously, the fitting of the bathroom, the flooring, the fitting of the wardrobes, which involves carpentry, everything, literally, fitting of the windows, fitting of the doors, so yeah.
Why is it that people are always scared to either to call you, not you, like your guys, because if I call this person, this thing might cost me this, and then like
I think one of the major reasons, obviously, is experience. A lot of people have experienced bad workmanship. They've they've experienced incomplete jobs or tacky finish.
Because I'm going there as well.
Unfortunately, not to defend builders or artisans, we do 1 out of 10 customers, from looking at it from our point of view. A builder will tell you, I have as well. I've experienced clients that you finish, even having done a good job, they'll add on jobs, they'll delay you, they'll do this. So some people, some builders, some artisans have put some structure in place where they ask for, say for example, half of their money up front, because they also have been in a position where some even say, what, I won't take any money when I start the job, and I'll take everything at the end. But then they've had series of situations where clients have said that they don't feel satisfied, and henceforth they won't pay them or things like that. But to answer your question, I think one of the reasons why people are scared is people, I think they don't budget well, because, and I say that because I wear a few hats. As much as I'm a builder, I'm a property investor as well. I work with other property investors. We come together, we put money together. I having the builder experience and the knowledge in property, I'm able to either project manage everything we're doing. But it could be different property strategies. It could be a flip where we buy the property quickly. I take in my guys, we redecorate, renovate, maybe adding a bathroom, adding the kitchen or whatever, and we sell. You understand, to make a profit. Or if it's a buy to let, we do it to a minimal rentable level. And so also I've had, and I say all this just to give a background to say that I've also been in a customer's position, so I understand, when I want to involve someone else to come and do something, but because I have the experience as a builder, it may be easier for me to navigate around other builders to get them to. There are ways I talk to a builder that will make them. I don't even need to reveal that I'm a builder, but I know sort of the lingo to use to make them feel comfortable, not feel. There are people that I've engaged to do work for me that I didn't even pay upfront because I gave them, certain, that would be me sharing some secrets of our trade. But
okay.
So main reason why people are scared, I think, is because people don't budget properly. And if you don't mind me quickly adding this, so if you can Google this, for most building projects, I don't want to say by law, but by how it should be is it should be 80% labor and 20% materials. So say, for example, you're taking on a project that's £100,000. You're building a house, say, for example, you're building a house for £100,000. What that means is you're apportioning 80,000 for labor because there's going to be a lot to go on in terms of labor in building a house for 100K, for example, and 20% for materials. Okay. But people want to use 80,000 to buy the best of materials and pay 20K to laborers, that would do the work.
Yeah, but sometimes a call out charge.
Okay,
call out charge. People.
Yeah, so call out charge is what I think initially, before I really understood what it was, even after I had become a builder, I didn't even know what call out charge is, because my area of expertise when I started was painting, flooring, and I wasn't doing plumbing or electricals. So I think people that deserve call out charge, and I say deserve, are specialist industries like electricals, plumbers, because not just because you can't do it yourself, even the phrase do it yourself, DIY, means two things. Do it yourself or don't involve yourself.
That's a new one.
You understand? So people should not involve themselves in electrical, especially if you don't have any background in it. You shouldn't involve yourself. Like I told you recently of, me going to lay flooring somewhere, and someone that had laid carpet there had put the carpet gripper on a pipe. And I want to believe that the person probably did not genuinely know, because the pipe was embedded into the floor. You understand? Yeah. So, if I didn't know as a builder, what to do at that point, first to shut down all the water supply, then to quickly manage the situation, if I was called in to do that and that happened, it wasn't my fault. But if I charged a call-out charge, for example, I wouldn't feel bad that I've had to save the day. I've had to, do more work than I was supposed to. Because the guy now that came to fix the problem, what he did was we had to dig. We called in two guys, and I'm still explaining this call-out charge situation. So I called in the first guy, and he says, you know what, because the pipe is embedded in the ground, if I were to dig the ground, pull, to get the pipe out and everything, and then get a new pipe in, solder it and all that stuff, it's going to cost you 180. But because he saw me wearing a builder's clothing, he said, if you are able to do all that prep work, I'll do it for 80. Then wow. I called in, the landlord of the house called in another guy, and he said, you know what, straight away he said, look, listen, this is bad. This is a bad situation. I can't do this. And I said, you know what, if you have a SDS drill and some equipment, I could quickly open this up. Let's even see what's going on there. And I think the fact that I was able to even use, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, what he's doing. And I started to open it up, and he saw that it was soft, and he took it from me, and he did it within less than an hour. He was done. He had, emptied the pipe. He had he cut the pipe. We did it together. He put in a new pipe. He soldered it on both ends, and that was it. No leak. You understand? So for example, if that guy, the second guy, which surprisingly to me, he charged £90, and he did everything compared to the, compared to the guy, the first guy that was going to charge 180 to do everything. He charged call-out charge in his cost.
Okay.
You understand? Which meant if he had tried to do it and it was unfixable, he would have still walked away with that call-out charge. But he had attempted it. You understand?
But you can't cancel a call-out charge.
No. So what you can do with a call-out charge is, most people that do call-out charge will tell you that the reason they charge call-out charge is they're coming out. One, they're using petrol to come to you. One, they're going to use their expertise to investigate what the problem is. Can it be resolved? If it's something they can do within the space of an hour, I think what they will do is they will just charge a little bit extra on top of whatever the call-out charge is, £50, £60, to resolve the problem.
What about a situation where the estimated time is 1 week, and you now stretch it, which some people...
So now we're not talking of call-out charge, we're talking of general work. Where someone... So...
And then, they stretch it, and then, like...
Yeah, so in terms of stretching, as it were, yes, I would not deny that. The heart of man, you know how we are as human beings. People could genuinely stretch a job for the purposes of getting more out of it, depending on the arrangement you have with the client. I don't do it. What I do is I try my best to under-promise and over-deliver. Say, for example, I know a job is going to take a week. I would say, look, it's going to take a week and a few days. You understand? And, I usually will, any job that goes, because I don't work on Saturdays and Sundays, and a lot of people want builders to come in on Saturdays. Oh, come and go with me too.
Because
there's a lot of backstory even to that one. Which is fine, because most people that do 9 to 5 don't have the time to, maybe go with you to go and, view tiles that they want to buy, or worktop, or this, or whatever materials, and are supposed to just check in online. So people like to physically see those things they want to buy. So sometimes they would prefer that a builder or the person doing the job will come with them, and if because I've had to go with someone to B&Q, for example, and I deliberately said to them, look, I don't work on Saturdays. I use my Saturdays for my family. Do you mind? I don't mind giving you, 2 hours. We ended up spending 6 hours there. 6 hours of my time that I could have been using to do something more practicable, profitable, actually. Even on Saturdays, I can go online, look for properties that can make good profits, pass it on to my investors, and make money from that. You understand? But people don't value other people's time. So they're like, if I tell you what we were doing for 6 hours, you'll be infuriated right now. Like, this person will pick a tile, one of the most hardest people, I've been asked this question, so I'm asking myself on your show this question: who is the most hardest person you've worked with? Indecisive people. You understand? And that, cuts across every line of work that I know in the building industry. Nobody wants their time wasted. Even a bricklayer don't want you. Decide what bricks you want to use before you, start. I understand that some people don't know, genuinely know, in terms of oh, the dexterity of this brick or this material, how long will it last? Is this better than that? They can't choose for themselves. But even when you help some people, I say some people, they, because of their indecisiveness, they bring it into on the table, and it delays and drags out things, such that you become frustrated. Like,
Yeah,
look,
true.
these are the options that are available to you: A, B, or C. You've eliminated A because I think it's too red. You've eliminated B because, oh, it's too dark. Okay, so you're left with C. Then C is
Take
your
it, and then you take it and go.
But C, but that B, I think I should go. You understand?
Yeah.
So these
Thank
are
you.
little things that people, even going back to call out charge. These
Yeah.
are things that people charge for. You don't want your time wasted. Then in terms of dragging jobs out, I don't think it's fair. I don't think builders should do that personally. And I hope I don't get backlash for that. But I genuinely don't think builders should stretch out a job just because they want to make money. What you should do is, which I've fallen victim of. Sometimes I've booked a job for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and because of unexpected circumstances, like there was a job where was meant to run for probably even a month, and it went on to 2 months because I had my gearbox in the car, damaged, and I had to, immediately I had to sort that out by, borrowing my cousin's car, but I had to wait for him because he goes to work at night. So I got to work late, and I had to bring the car back because he has to, take his child from school, and all those kind of things, delayed me.
So how do you compensate?
Yes.
On that?
So I went in on weekends. So the weekends I shouldn't work. I go on weekends. When I had a chance, I worked late. I even went on a Sunday after church, and okay. So there was a situation. So I went to fit a kitchen, for example, and there was a situation with the electrics where all the electrics stopped working for some reason. And when we got in a professional, they said, oh, there was a cable that was, in fact, there was need for rewiring somewhere. And they were going to charge about £600 to go in the loft, to drop in wires, to do this, to chase the wall, then put the cables in, plaster it, and all that. And I said, you know what, I can do that. If I were to do all those prep work, all the wiring, going in the loft, and doing all the labor of all that, how much would you do? Guess what they said? £80. So I saved the client how much? $520. But even though the job got delayed, I don't know where this video is going to go, but if they see it, even though the job got delayed, I think those are instances.
Yeah, but that one was more of your protecting your integrity. Not that some people would, they would just say, you know what, you've done this, or you stretch this is that. So, but that compensation, it's too big of.
Yeah. So ideally, what you would expect that would happen in that kind of scenario should be, okay, look, I know you delayed this job for a month, but you saved us $520 at this point. Not to mention some other things that I did in trying to compensate. I fitted, I took down doors. People that came to lay carpet, they took the doors out because the doors would not close. I cut all the doors, I fitted it back. I did quite a number of things, you understand? But the point that I'm trying to make is, I will go out of my way to compensate my client. But when you have situations where, it's not, because it was a loss for me. The job clearly was a loss for me. Yeah. Because one, the job took longer than I thought. I didn't get compensated for saving them. $520. And it's not even just that. Let's leave that aside. Let's look at situations where I've gone to B&Q with a client. We're going to look at flooring. They want to floor the entire house, bedrooms, downstairs. So we saw all the materials, underlay, edge trims, all these things. For everything came to about 2,600. that, you know, because they wanted to go with the high-end type of flooring, you know, and I've got a discount card with B&Q, a builder's discount card. The day we now went to buy it, you know, she had brought in 2,600 to pay. She actually brought cash. You understand? So, with my discount card, I think she eventually, and because I was friends with the manager, I even asked for extra discount. I think we must have spent 1,004. 1,004. Look at that gap. And this is what they said at the till. I will never forget this. This person was told, "Oh wow, I'm guessing you're going to take Ayo out for lunch." You know, because no, and you understand?
Yeah.
And this person was like looking at what for what? They literally said for what? And I just smiled and used my card, because now what would have happened is I could have taken that 2,600 off them. They didn't need to come. In fact, they didn't want to come. I said they should come because I sort of knew what was going to happen, because I just wanted them to see, you know, my transparency in terms of, you know, so the discount card is for me. It's not for a client. It's for me to, you know, so because there are jobs where I tell the client, oh, buy the materials, I come and do the job, and you pay me for labor only. But there's some jobs where some clients don't have the time, they don't even want to they just have picked the materials they need. This is how much it's going to cost. They transfer it to you, and they're not even asking for a receipt. Even if they ask for a receipt, I could make them a receipt. I could have made the woman, you know, sit at home, pay the 2006, use my trade card, got it at 1.4, and, you know, write her a receipt from me with labor and materials without showing that I got a discount.
Wow.
You understand? And that's just to mention a few. You understand?
Well,
so
your link will be provided, and if you're looking for integrity, honesty, this is the platform. This is Ayo. Again, when you go to IKEA, B&Q, and you see some hanging around guys,
okay,
Eastern European, and they come
weeks
and they say, okay, this I want to do.
Shout out to my guys at Wix, at Barking. I always see, I see these guys everywhere. They want to work. They genuinely want to work. You know, there's a story behind all that anyway. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, my brother has been a victim of that kind of situation.
Okay. So when you say victim, what's happened? Do you want to?
Well, what happened was, you know, he brought them.
Okay.
Fix this garden.
Okay.
Do this one. This one. That's it. Done. I think he paid in advance or something like that.
Okay.
And after 2 days, they stopped coming.
Okay.
Stopped coming to the place. You know, he was calling, was doing this, and there was no response.
Let me quickly interject there. So, firstly, your brother made a mistake of, there's this, if your listeners read the Bible, please read the Bible. The Bible has nuggets about business and life, especially the book of Proverbs. There's a part in the book of Proverbs that says, don't just pull someone from the streets to do a job for you. It's actually there. I don't even remember where it is. If I find it, I'll pass it on to you, and you know, you can put it on the link or something later on. Genuinely, even I, as a person, don't just employ anyone to just work for me, especially if it's okay. So I have a standard when it comes to work. I can do a whole 5-bedroom house myself, from painting to even fitting kitchen, even fitting bathroom, even includes painting, flooring, whatever. It will be I'm very particular who I take into people's homes. Of all the people that have even been working with me for years, I'm very, very particular. Except I have exceptions. So my exception is if it's garden. You understand? Because that's outdoors. They can do and undo whatever. Because I've taken people into people's homes where someone started, they're trying to lift things right inside the house. He's got cigarettes, I have nothing against cigarette smoking. Whoever wants to, enjoy the cigarette, but you don't respect people's home. You can't be smoking in someone's bedroom as well. You understand? And I mean, don't get me wrong. I could talk of a lovely gentleman that has worked with me before. That is of Islamic background, and he started to pray in the room. I corrected that, because even if it was a Christian that was praying in the room, I would have said, listen, take this.
It's not your house, man.
It's not your house.
It's
so
not your house.
I'm not just using just smoking as as an issue. But as a workman, I think is someone that if you're going to get people to come and work for you, I think most people know that you should do via recommendation, preferably via recommendation. If someone is recommended, at least you can, go back to whoever recommended and say, I mean, what happened to this guy that you recommended to me, or whatever. Or there seems to be a sort of accountability there if someone recommends someone to you, because you feel like, trust is there. They must have, done something good, which is why someone else recommended them, But then I always say that even if you don't get someone that's recommended, at some point you will have to trust someone that you're working with for the first time. You would have to take a leap of faith. What you can just put in place is, put things like you can take them through a process of interview. A short interview, just which area do you live? Put a contract in place if they're working with you for the first time.
Yeah.
If someone has been working with you for a long time, you call them just like someone. I have repeat customers. There are people that I've worked for 10 years. They don't ask me for contracts anymore, and I don't even give them contracts anymore because we've known each other. There are people that even as a builder that I work for, that I'm like, okay, this job is more than any job that is more than £1,000. I would prefer to give them a contract just to prevent arguments, or I won't leave it as just verbal. Oh, we said, you said, I said. It's either we put something written, either as a text or as something we can go back to, refer to, and say, that they have a copy, I have a copy, and they confirm that yes, I'm happy to go ahead with this. They may not even see it as a contract where they've signed, but at least their confirmation and their agreement is there. You understand? Yeah. So unfortunately, I do agree that your brother fell victim for that. And another mistake is paying them. I don't know how much you pay them upfront, but I would say someone you're working with for the first time, the minimum I take now from people working with them for the first time is between 0 to 30% of the labor cost. That way, even if tomorrow they change their mind, because that has happened, someone just, oh, my wife said that she doesn't want us to continue with this. Yeah, that's happened, where you've literally told other people, oh, sorry, I can't, I'm very busy now, I've got this job ongoing, and people just turn around and say, oh, the money that I thought we were going to use for this, something happened, which is genuine, but what do? You're now left with nothing. Yeah. But at least if you have 30%, that's like £30 out of 100. If someone says at least you use that £30 for petrol, it's not enough for your time, but at least you've got something.
Okay. When it comes to like career, I know you've stepped up. Yeah. During the career expansion, how will you feel like it should be like educational, most especially for people that want to go into your work?
Oh, that's a very good question because as I sit in front of you right now, if I were to do this again, I think I probably would have taken time out to go and I still have access to certifications. I've got I've done some project management work where it's even higher than just being a builder. If you're project managing electricians, plumbers, and builders on a site, you're higher than them in terms of ranking, in terms of a hierarchy of the project. So but I feel is very important. Education is very important because one of the reasons I think I've scaled through my journey with ease is because of I've got background in mechanical engineering and also computer science, which has nothing to do with building, but at least you can make excuses with the mechanical engineering. I think sometimes I wonder, oh, how did you know to do that? How did you know to do that? People ask me that a lot. How do you know to do that? Oh, do you have a degree in carpentry? I almost would say it's common sense, but it's not common. You understand? It's the background I actually had in the education with mechanical engineering, whether I want to admit that or not, is what has helped me. So I may not necessarily have
the experience of that one.
So then as I continued, because the first kitchen I did it by myself. And I still have the picture to today, and it's surprising. I'm surprised, like, wow, if this is your first kitchen, really, and because with a kitchen, there's a lot of intricacies, isn't it, in a kitchen? You've got the plumbing aspect, you've got the electrical aspect, you've got the carpentry aspect, there was even decorating in terms of painting, that one didn't have spotlights because I didn't know how to do that at the time, but I was able to, I'd learned plumbing up to that point. I'd learned carpentry, floor, because I did the tiling, I did the cabinets, put the cabinets together and all that. So education is very, very important, I think. I always suggest to people that are younger that want to probably go into even property, even if you want to do property investment eventually in life. I like properties. I like, learn something, learn a trade. I know during COVID, I definitely, I don't know if it's okay to say this, but I taught someone that was a international lawyer. I taught him how to do flooring. Because he felt like he couldn't travel to start with, and if you're grounded, you need something to feed your family. So and if you think about it, during COVID, builders were working. We were one of the people that were okay to move around as much as we were like the nurses of the country. Because during COVID, a lot of things were even getting more damaged because children were at home. So from slamming of doors to breaking of locks to this to that, all sorts of things. So
will you say okay? Because now I noticed that the society is saying, at least for the few next years, people need 2 or 3 jobs to fit into the
to be able to manage
their life anyway.
I think even when I said education earlier, even financial education is very important. I don't think because there are people that have 5, 6 jobs and they still can't make ends meet, as it were. You and I know of our pastor has written a book called 10 M's of Money. The first M in that book is mistakes. And you will continually repeat mistakes because you're not financially educated. You keep saying, oh, I shouldn't have spent that money. Oh, I shouldn't have. Between January and now, October, how much has gone through these hands? You understand that you could have used for something else that could have now benefited you. How much, and that's just one aspect of financial education. Knowing how to save, knowing how to. I think you can have a job, and still, manage your finances very well.
Yeah. So builders.
Yes.
Yeah. They say, oh, they're like millionaires.
Yes,
So,
we are. I mean, sitting before you,
So-
I'm a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm a multi in any currency. Well, you know what? I think it's
Because that's the if you go into it and you do well,
Yeah.
it's easy for to be like
they are. I know builders that are struggling. Sometimes, and this is the genuine truth. Sometimes you can find yourself in a position where you're down today, you're up tomorrow as a builder, because if your work is good, this is what they say: if your work is good, you will always have work.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's a phrase that in my humility, I didn't want to be embracing it, because I always felt like, oh, I could improve in anything that I know how to do. I could improve. So that helped me to constantly look for ways to improve myself, as opposed to just sit down and relish on, oh yeah, my work is good and that's it. I'm not improving myself.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I think it's not true that all builders are very rich or millionaires, and the simple reason for that is just because, again, financial management. There are people that genuinely have access to good people around them that help them. They have opportunities. They made certain they did certain project. They took out certain amount of that project, or maybe profit or whatever they made from that project, put it into something else and grew from that. Not necessarily property. For years, I didn't know about property investment. All I knew was about property building or building work. So I work on properties, but I didn't make money from properties. Because, say for example, a property investor can buy property for, let's say, 100,000, depending on where. I mean, there's still properties that are within that range.
Yeah.
So for example, he buys a property for 100,000. He calls in a builder. Oh, I need to change the bathroom. I need to change the kitchen. I need to develop this place up. And they spend between 15 and 18K. Let's even say 20K on both materials and labor. To fix up the place. That's 120 plus all the charges and everything, stamp duty and all those things. Let's say this person comes up to maybe 135, 140K in terms of expenses, buying the property, all those things, renovation and all those things, and they sell the property for 170.
Yeah, it's profit.
So let's say they've made a profit of, if I'm correct, about 30K, right?
Yeah.
The builder did not actually make 20K, even though they've put 20K down to say, this is what we've used for renovations, because they've had to buy materials. So let's say half of that went towards the builder, and even the builder himself, maybe he wouldn't be able to do all that job by himself. He got in other people to. So the take home eventually
Would be
for
like
the 5K.
15,
Yeah, probably like 5K. I promise you, because after he pays tax, after he does this, after he does that, you understand? He pays petrol. He had to eat. He had to, for that period of doing that work. The real take home may just be like 5K.
What's your best job ever you've done?
Ooh.
Whether it's easy, quick, and straightforward, or you just made it, even maybe it's like you just look at it and you admire it yourself. Like,
wow. Do I actually have? I think I'm always, very few of my work do I go, I'm unsatisfied, because before I started work, I mean this line of work, I read Michelangelo's biography, and the short lesson I learned from that was, because he painted the painting in Sicily on the ceiling in Sicily. It's a very popular painting where Moses' hand is touching God's hand.
Oh yeah.
And he spent 3 extra days trying to correct one of the fingers, and his friend said to him, "Why are you spending 3 extra days? Nobody's going to see it," because at the time they were looking at it from the ground to the ceiling. And he said, this is what Michelangelo said that struck me. He said, "If I can see that now, someone else in the future will see it." There was no binoculars at the time. Now people use binoculars to see the details, the intricacies of that painting. So what that says is, I don't like to work with people that do things like, it's okay, the clients will take it like that.
Yeah.
That's not excellence. We're not striving for perfection, don't get me wrong. Even Coca-Cola bottles, I've seen bottles that the Coke and all the same, and that's a machine done. You understand? So my point is, I push for excellence, and for every job, I have friends that are better than me, and I love that. I love that I have people around me that are better than me in terms of what we do, but I think my area of strength, because this comes down to SWOT analysis now: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. So for me, the best job I've done is building those around me. So the best job is not an actual kitchen, There are kitchens that I've done that you'll be like, oh wow, this is very good, well done. You understand? But my building is building up people. The people I've built around me, I'm very happy. There's a mother. I say mother. There's a lady. I think of ladies because some women are not given chances in our trade, because they're looked at. She's a woman who's gonna ask you to come on. There are women that I've trained, that their children are very happy, that their husbands are very proud. Oh wow, you guys did that. You painted this. Mister, you taught me. Please, thank my. So it's not even just about the money you pay them, but now they've got a skill. Yeah. Now this woman has moved. They've moved into their house. Guess who painted the house? The woman. She's taking a skill she took from working with me back to to save us. You know what they would have charged her to paint a 3-bedroom house. You understand? I know students that have worked with me that came back to say, Uncle, please, our landlord doesn't want to pay to paint our apartment that he's renting out to us. Can we borrow your roller and your brush? I said, yeah, by all means. Girls, they took off their nails, took off their wig, they painted a 2-bedroom flat that would have cost them, I think the man was trying to charge them 400. He was trying to exploit them. The landlord was trying to exploit them. He was trying to charge them £400 to paint his own property that they should have painted in the first place. Because when the last tenants left, they left it in a state. But he just, because they are students, so he just thought, if you want to rent it, and they painted the place. And I encourage them to paint it, because listen, you're going to be there for your duration of education. You want to be coming back into a room that smells nice, that looks nice, and I think Gen Z, they want to be able to do Instagram videos in their room, and so they were glad that I encouraged them to. Today they always come back to say. So, and just to mention a few, people building for me is my best job, as opposed to kitchen. I've done landscaping. I've done really, really good jobs. I genuinely have. I have pictures to prove it. But people building, I think.
Well, what's the worst one?
The worst job that I've done. The worst job that I've done. Let me see. I think. So there was a bathroom I did. The bathroom itself, if I show you the video now, is very nice. Unfortunately, though, there was a pipe leaking at the back of one of the tiles. So they had to obviously spoil everything that I've done just to be able to, because I had moved on, and the person just felt, like, oh, I'm incompetent because that happened, and they called somebody else to, break open the tiles, and, I was very saddened. I promise you, I was very, like, and that's where, plumbing is very, very, I think plumbing is more delicate than electricals. Electricals, people make it like, electricals can have burned down the house. I know. It's wires are sparked and touch something else. That's why you shouldn't use certain materials anyway within the house space that could catch fire. You understand? That's why we don't use certain materials. But I think plumbing can damage a house worse. At least I know of 2 houses where I've been called to come and fix stuff. Like, for example, a husband called me from Nigeria that his wife is in the hospital and she's pregnant. I was like, wait, what? I'm a builder. Why are you calling me? You should be calling the doctor. He said, no, Mr. You don't understand. What happened was we had a leak in our house, and the water was in the ceiling, and she was in the kitchen, and the thing fell on her, and she was pregnant at the time. So I had to go and fix that. So that's proper. That, God forbid, that woman, and it could have been worse. Okay. There was another job where someone had called me to come and I think they were even about to have a housewarming when they got back from church. They called me to say, come and see our house. That some guy that came to do some plumbing work, he apparently left, when they investigated, he left a pipe open in the ceiling upstairs.
Wow.
That has, the water now had soaked everywhere, and their child had just run past, and the ceiling almost fell on the child. So what I think water and plumbing is very, so those are not my job. I didn't cause that, but those are probably the worst situations I've seen in terms of work.
So how did you, or how do you come back from that experience?
Yeah, when you say come back.
Well, like when you were devastated.
Okay,
about
the woman,
the
for example. Yeah, I mean, I apologize. I volunteered to. What can I do? How can I make this up to you? Because there's a saying that it takes at least 200 people to get you known, but it takes just one person to get you blown or something like that. One bad critique could just spoil your name. So I tried to obviously what can I do, but in that case that work had been done. The person just wanted, and they were very pleasant about it because they know that I did other jobs in the house, and initially the job was well done until they found that leak, which obviously they wouldn't even have known until some other parts of the wall was getting damp. And thankfully, what I was grateful for was it was not even upstairs flat, because what that meant I would have incurred more damage, financially, because I would have had to be called back to say, oh, it's your fault. Now the flat downstairs as well is having that problem. So,
between being a company and individual self-employed, which one would you advise?
I'm glad to. I experienced both, and I would say they both have their pros and cons. They both have their benefits. They both have their disadvantages, advantages. Being self-employed, you can, I can say some jobs, at least to a minimal extent, you can take cash in hand, not to evade tax, but it's just like a how do I put this? It's easier to just walk away with cash. And I mean, say for example, I've done stuff for people that they say, oh, should we give me your account? Let me pay £20. I'm like, yeah, if you have cash, that's fine. You understand? And but if it was a company, they won't be even paying £20. They would have to pay more, because then you have to pay plus VAT plus this and this, or company car came out. But sometimes as a self-employed person, you're able to give people opportunity to pay less. And so it has its pros and cons. But as a business, you can easily get, I think if I'm correct, you can easily get a loan faster than if you were self-employed. As a company, there's so many things you can do, benefit from as a company.
Lastly,
okay.
Unspoken Answers. What if you were to help someone to grab this career? What will you advise?
What would I advise someone firstly, I think one of my, I'm big on quotes. I'm big on, I don't know how many quotes I've given since I've sat on this chair. I love quotes because there's wisdom there, isn't it? And one of my fun quotes, or one of my go-to quotes in life is, the first thing to get what you want is to know what you want. Shall I leave that to sink in? The first thing.
It will sink in.
The very first thing you need to do to get what you want is to know what you want. We have 2 flower pots here now. It goes back to the issue of indecision, isn't it? I need to know which one I want. So if they say, if there's 4 of us here, and they say 4 of you stand around the table, there's 2 pots, but 4 of you have to go for this, go for one of these pots. Me not even saying to me not deciding already that I'm going for the one on the left, I'm going for the one on the left, should I go for the one on the right? Or by the time the bell goes,
you're not going to have anything.
Because you're still trying to decide what you're going. So all my energy will be, I'll be planning how to, if I'm going for the one on the left, anybody on my left, they are dead. Because I will make sure you don't get it. Because that's what I'm going for. My energy, my drive, my all the how to get it will be, the juices will be flowing. Do I give the guy elbow? I'm just using something very dramatic, but
wow.
So once this person decides what they want, yes, I definitely, because I think I decided early on that this is what I wanted to do. I've worked in retail. I can do anything. I know that sounds like a cliche. I know even as a Christian, I could even say a scripture that is in line with that. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's true. It is true. You can do anything. I've recently decided that I wanted to start learning to fly planes. I have started. And, people always ask me, oh, why do you want to fly a plane? It's because it's nobody, many people, how many builders do you know that fly planes? I just want to do something that people don't want to do. You understand? Because once I see there's something there, I'm not even going to reveal that in public yet, but there's a reason why I'm doing it. There's a more reason why I'm doing it. But once you decide what you want to do, I think that is it seems very simple. It seems like a decision.
Yeah.
That can that's what I want to do. Really is because there will be ups and downs in everything. There will be ups and downs. There will be need for learning. There will be need for there will be sacrifice. You understand? There's so many things that surround it. But what I would say to someone that wants to, not to take too much time, someone that wants to go into this career, I would say decide that this is what you want to do. Then take building as a pie. Take the building career as a pie. Now divide it into 4 quadrants. You understand? You know, those quadrants also would be divided into quadrants later, but divide it and say, look, I want to learn painting and decorating, or I want to. I think I want. Let me go for plumbing first, because even with plumbing involves a lot of other things. You know, because that means you can just take on jobs like, you know, fitting bathrooms, because under that, when you go and fit bathrooms, you'll be almost aligned. Because one thing I learned early on is people that I went to work with, when I was working with other people, they will ask them, oh, sorry, that's kind of...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so people would ask them, oh, sorry, do you know someone that does tiling? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, how come you don't do tiling? Do you see what I mean? So there's some other things that are aligned with other things in building work. Mm-hmm. So there's electricals. Why not, if you learn electricals, learn a bit of carpentry with it, so that you can, know if an electrician wants to, say for example, run wire from here to here, and he doesn't even have the knowledge of a carpenter, how will he know how to drill? Oh, I should drill a hole here, pass it there. Oh, will that hole that I've drilled, will they affect the structure of the building? And that's just 3 parts of the quadrant. Then there's also the outdoorsy types of building work. There's the roof, there's the landscape, and so it's, building is big.
Wow.
Building,
Yes. Mr. Thank you so much. In fact,
we can spend the whole day
there. Well, I think what we have to do is that maybe we'll have another session.
That'll be great.
That'll
be awesome.
But at this moment, we'll put your link, because definitely people will be asking, and then we then share and like the videos, and we'll see you again.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Unspoken Answers, Unspoken Questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, man.